I had to clean the corner of my desk so that my room does not look like what it normally does. So
this is just so much worse. Look how like
yes, it's so much more intimate. Like,
so
hey guys, we're hanging out. This one is like, hello, we don't really want to interact with you.
Look how easy and breezy everything is. It's so much more comfortable.
No, it's so distant. Like, what are you afraid
That's
of,
great.
Paul? Why don't you want to connect with people? Let's get into it.
Well, I mean, that's what therapy's for. Hello, everyone. Welcome in. Oh, Jesus, Mother Mary. Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome in. Thank you so much for joining us on our. Well, we've renamed it.
Yeah.
Which I like your name. We went back and forth during the week.
I like your name too, Paul.
This. Thanit's the whole thing. It's called branding, Autumn.
Okay.
Welcome everyone. I mean, it's like episode. This is the second one we've done, but it's the first one we've dubbed Passion Project.
Yes. So Fandom Social is the name of our brand. Fandom Social Live was just the name of every show. But as we evolved, we started dividing up our shows into different categories, different series. So we have a series called Explorathon. We have a series called Deep Dive, a series called Pop Culture News. And we have a new series. This is episode 2 of that new series that is now called Passion Project, where we find and connect with people who have a passion project driven by their fandom specifically. So we already met with Miguel from Toy Quest 101 talking about his YouTube channel and what drives him to keep going with that. He's had some really great success. And now we've got another couple of creators that have a podcast, and we're going to be interviewing them as well. So this show is my passion project, this particular series. And so that's the name I came up with.
It is, and I think it's very fitting one that we are interviewing two people who maybe not necessarily a similar arc, but we have similar questions of like full-time lives, full-time projects. I mean, you guys have kids. I've got plants, so I understand.
It's the same.
It's like, how do you find the drive to be able to do these? And this is really sort of the genesis behind why you wanted to do this, Autumn. And it's a great series, and it's only the second one.
I'm really fascinated by this concept, especially because you and I, we had this idea to do this show for months and months and months before we ever did it. And so we're very familiar with the lift that it takes to go from what if to what is, which is a new little tagline for the show. I hope you guys like it. Okay. Yeah. And
You've been working on that all day.
I have.
I can tell. I can tell.
I've been waiting to announce it.
So I'm glint in your glasses.
Are you ready? So I'm really excited about this because this is something, like I said, I'm really interested in. And in the future, I want to not only talk to people who have podcasts, but people who run like Facebook groups or different communities, people who have live stream shows, people who run a blog, anybody who is driven by their fandom, by their passion for something, to create something of their own to add to the community of fans. So episode 2, I love it.
All right. Well, before we bring on our guests, everyone, again, like, comment, subscribe, the notification bell, please. Comment. We'll see you guys and your comments when they start rolling in. We appreciate you. Mm-hmm. And I think, Autumn, without further ado, should we start bringing on our guests?
I think we should.
All right. Well, everyone, they are writers, producers, editors, hosts, and certified wonderful, wonderful people. We have got Troy Lewter and Michael Stella of Bald Guys and Bad Movies. All right, I'm gonna bring them on.
Okay, you bring them up.
That we always do. Hey guys!
Whoa. Hey, how's it going?
Oh,
a little slower next time, Paul. Jeez, man, ease up. Well, with that introduction, I sure hope that we don't fail miserably for the second episode.
Don't mess up, you guys.
That's a lot of pressure because this could end right here and now. This series, her passion could be dashed. So,
you're saying you think you could do such a bad job that I'll never ever do another episode of this again?
Which in itself would be an achievement.
Absolutely. We're just saying it's possible. Okay, we're just saying it's within the realm of possibility.
Our other name for our show was the Untankables, but we'll see. So,
yeah, you definitely don't want us on for
that. Welcome in, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Autumn, do you want to explain how you know these gentlemen? And then people can maybe just see like, oh, so that's how I get on the show.
Yes.
I just have to work with Autumn And we'll get
Nepotes. Okay, guys. So I work over at Nexon America. We're making we do marketing for video games, and Mike and Troy work on the video team there, and I've worked with them on multiple projects now. And just through working with them, I found out about their podcast, started listening to it, and became a fan. And so I started harassing them on work communication channels to say, hey, come be on our show. And they were like, okay. So I'm so glad that you guys did. It's been such a joy working with you guys on multiple things. We've done a lot of things now.
We quickly bonded with office frustration.
Yes, which we will talk about all during this show.
Yeah, also careers throughout this hour.
Airing of grievances.
The chisme is strong. The chisme is strong. That's for sure.
Also, I do want to let you guys know I did just find out for some reason chat is disabled for this live stream. I don't know why. I'm gonna work in the background to see if I can get it turned back on. But for some reason
you think they saw these two faces? The faces
no, it's just
built for podcasting. They're like, oh no,
absolutely.
Well, no, that's one way to moderate, Autumn.
Yeah, I do think that if anybody's able to do a comment, that it's possible that I may be able to we can read the comments on the actual live stream channel, but you just can't chat in the live stream. So I apologize, guys. I'm not sure why I did it.
It could
be
because of the vulgarness of your
It's already falling apart, Autumn.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, but we still do have people watching. If you guys have questions, maybe you guys can just ping me or Autumn on Facebook as well. We have multiple.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Yeah, just post it. I was going to say, I'll start a thread in the Facebook group right now, and you guys can post your questions and comments there. I'll do that right now.
Great.
Stall for time.
You know what? We were just saying this is untankable. This has literally never happened before. So
that's correct.
Yeah, just in time for us. Absolutely. So.
Well, guys, I think where we should start for our audience is maybe explain a little bit about what your show is. I know you guys have a pretty badass tagline, as well as maybe the genesis. Where does your show come from? Where was that? I think I even said it in our production call, that Spider-Man moment. Are we doing a show? Are we doing this? Walk us through that.
Okay, Mike, you want me to kick it off?
Yeah, why don't you kick it off?
All right. So Mike and I, we were talking about podcasting for a couple years before we actually pulled the trigger. Basically, I was the one of the two of us that actually listened to podcasts, and Mike later on, through my fandom of the medium, he started to listen as well. But it really started, I guess, you want to talk about Genesis. We would have these conversations and we would enjoy it so much that maybe it's a narcissistic thing to think. But I'm like, I think other people would have fun listening to us run our mouths and be complete idiots and share our opinions about entertainment.
Literally, that's literally what it was. I would just go into Troy's office and we would just start talking about movies or whatever, video games, and
after all our work was done, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next on,
I would always go in there for an official reason, and then it would, and then we'd have a sidebar about this.
Clear that schedule, then we,
exactly. But that's basically how that was the genesis of it, and then we just said it over and over and over again. I think it was really during COVID that finally we needed some sort of an outlet, and I remember our first couple episodes were just it was such a relief to hop on and just have those conversations again, and I remember looking forward to it all week, and then it was just we'd have a great time. Those first recordings were 2.5 hours long. Poor Troy having to chop that sucker up into an hour.
And I'll add, as because we're both creators, we're both editors. I write. We both have those aspirations. Mike has a filmmaking background. It was nice to have something creative that we called our own, because we work for the man and we create product for the man. And most of the time we have to make changes for the man that we may not agree with. It's not ours, right?
Exactly.
And there's something to be said about ownership, something that didn't exist until you thought of it. And then partnering with someone who's probably my best friend and us putting this together.
And
then And the goal, guys, was it has to be fun. And that's what I told
Mike.
Oh,
absolutely.
Because if it feels like work, we get enough of that in our day job.
Yeah.
Because we know, and I know myself and I know Mike, we're both kind of lazy. Right? So if it's not fun, we won't sustain it. So the first year, because we're in the second year of the podcast, the first year was just about, can we sustain this? Can we continue to do it? Is it still fun? And then, like Mike said, it was up to me to kind of edit it together. And I didn't really pour a lot of creative juice into the edit because, again, I was worried about making it work. I just wanted to make it fun.
Right. And you wanted to be too polished.
Yeah, like I didn't want to put all these, titles and bridges, and I didn't want to put it in a box. Because I didn't want it to at any point feel like work, right? And go ahead, Mike.
I was just gonna say, it really kind of progressed naturally. Like he just the one thing he did first was we made our intro, and that was the thing that I think has been there since the very beginning. And then slowly throughout everything, throughout all our episodes, we've gotten all sorts of different little funny things, like the laundry meter and Troy's fun facts and what other one? There's like a couple other ones.
Special messages.
The special messages. Oh my god!
I'm a big fan of what I call them is like your outgoing voicemail for like that's what it reminds me of, and I love how obsessed with a certain actor's butt you are, Mike. I wouldn't have known that, But when our fans go and watch the show, they can they'll know. It's great. Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Charlie
Hunnam
is the bane of Mike's existence.
Oh my god. No, it's not Charlie Hunnam. I don't mind Charlie Hunnam. It's his walk. It drives me fucking insane. Like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to curse, but jeez, it drives me crazy. Oh my god.
Well, I stole a soundbite of him talking about Batman's, but I combined it with the Charlie Hunnam diatribe, and I've created a whole new rant.
Oh my god, it's phenomenal.
I can't wait. I cannot wait. So it's interesting, me and Autumn also we understand like what it was like, right? Just to want to connect to anything during the COVID era. I mean, your guys' first episode, which so from what I'm seeing on Bald Guys Bad Movies, you guys can check all this out, baldguysbadmovies.com. Also, you guys changed your website? A little bit, right?
A little bit.
Change the thumbs. I know.
You guys cleaned up a little before company was coming over.
Well, yeah, basically. So there was a couple. There was a little while ago, a few episodes ago. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna make all these cute little thumbnails where I like change the faces of all the characters on the posters to the bald guy's head, and I was like, oh crap, I haven't done that in like 6 or 7 episodes. So.
Yeah,
last night I just you could mention it. Yeah, you didn't mention anything to me about it either, Troy. You could have said something. We are friends.
Leave their room. They know they have to do it. All right?
Okay, I'm just saying we could have a conversation. And so I went through and just banged out a whole bunch of them yesterday and put them on the website.
I'm not gonna lie. I did a bunch.
What'd you say, Troy?
On our web. Oh.
No, sorry. What?
I was gonna. There we go. I was gonna say I did a bunch of house cleaning on our website as well yesterday.
You sure did.
So, I went and updated our website and our YouTube channel. I was like, this is kind of looking messy around here. So,
it's really funny because all the stuff on we had that conversation the other day, and you were like, "Man, your website's really polished and stuff," and I'm thinking to myself like. Literally everything. Like, luckily we have no fans. Like, we have very few listeners. We'll say that. And so I'm not worried about the fact that every single piece of art on there is absolutely stolen from something else. Like,
who's looking at it?
Exactly, because no one's going to the website. In fact, I told Troy, like, if we ever get a cease and desist order for something on there, that's going to be a moment. We've made it. Yeah, exactly.
That's the bar. That's the bar. Legal trouble.
Legal trouble. Exactly.
We can either cease or desist. We can't.
Exactly.
But it's interesting. Speaking of your website, again, I've been obsessed with you guys for a bit. There's your intro video that you guys have. You've got everything from like the Edward Muybridge to Avatar to Ben-Hur, like in that intro video. Would you guys say that that's like a pretty good sort of introduction to both of you in the show, like how eclectic your movie tastes are? Because that's all.
I would say not. You want to know what? I'll tell you what that's from. You don't know what that's from? That's from Babylon, the movie Babylon that came out a couple years ago. With Margot Robbie and
my only 5-star rating, by the way.
Is it really?
Babylon, yeah.
Babylon.
Didn't you give Life Force 5 stars, or you were going to give it 5 stars, and then you were like, I can't do that. I can't.
I thought about it and I gave it 4. But Babylon,
I was blown away when he said that. I was like, 5 stars for this movie, Troy? You can't do that. Like, I mean, do what you want, but I can't endorse this.
My show too.
Yeah, exactly.
Troy's like, watch me. Move.
Oh, that's
Tell me again, Mike, about how much you love Five Nights at Freddy's.
I didn't say I loved it. I said I liked it. I thought it was a fun time.
This year, okay. Well, I had fun time with Life Force.
I will hold Five Nights at Freddy's up above Life Force any day of the week. I will have that argument.
Again, the bar is real high.
Yeah.
Hey, it's called Bald Guys and Bad Movies, okay? Like, we should be arguing about bad movies. I feel like that's like, if we're gonna get like, we can all agree on what a good movie is. It's when we're arguing what's the better bad movie. Like, that's really where the conversation starts.
Yeah. And by the way,
don't worry, we're doing it, Autumn. We're doing it.
You guys,
we can't do it next. We can't do it next, but we will do it soon.
I'm harassing them to do this one for a bit now.
We will do it.
Yes, you guys. I'm so excited.
I'm looking forward.
So excited.
My anticipation has been elevated.
Yeah, I'm excited.
It's on a Xanadu level. And suddenly, like, I'm really
100%.
Like, to review it.
Anybody in the chats, by the way, the chats are working now. He asked, is this Xanadu level like bad/good? And I said that pirate movie absolutely is. Hello. So anybody who has seen it, can you back me up? I mean, it's bad good. It's wonderful. It's a masterpiece. So
well, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I love it.
Fine.
But to tack on, initially that was the premise. We would just review bad movies.
Yeah.
But it just, again, what would we have fun reviewing?
Yeah.
Right.
And sometimes it was just a movie we wanted to see.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily a bad movie. We just wanted to see it.
Let's talk about it.
And sometimes
it's your podcast.
It's a bad movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, our first movie. I mean, look,
badass. That's a bad movie.
Exactly.
So you could kind of play with it like that, right? So
and I mean, let's face it. The first movie we reviewed was The Batman, which is a lot of people really like that movie, and so it's not necessarily
this guy right here.
So for you guys, was that like timing? Was it like it just happened because that was like March 2022 when you guys did that? Yeah. Was that like just timing? Where it's like, okay, this happened to be out, or were you waiting to launch episode 1 for that?
No, I think it was just timing, wasn't it?
Yeah, planning for us is not a thing. For example, the tagline you mentioned.
Like looking in a mirror.
I probably wrote that in like 15 minutes, right? And I knew of a voiceover guy that Mike and I have used in our day life.
Oh, speaking of voicemail, call either of us and go to our voicemail, and you will hear the same voice.
Yes, it's Tim. He's amazing. A man of 1,000 voices. And the bald guy face was Mike. You designed that in like 15 minutes.
And for somehow it turned out looking exactly like Troy. Like, I don't really understand it, but it looked exactly.
I'm living up here rent free.
Yeah,
I know.
That's okay.
I know. I love it. Hey,
one day I'll be all yours, Mike. So.
Kick off your shoes and relax yourself, Troy. That's fine.
It's nice. It's tropical. It's tropical.
Yeah.
I like what you guys do with the thumbnail on the for like all your videos now, where you sort of incorporate it into the key art for the movies. Like that's a pretty nice touch. Again, you guys can check it out. Check out everything at baldguys@badmovies.com. Super polished website. It looks good.
Yeah, it looks great. It made me up our game. So.
Oh my god! You want to know how we got that website? You want to know how we got that website? It's hilarious. Literally, we got an email from some dude. He was like, "I made a website for you. What do you think?" And I was like, "Whoa, dude! Like, this is pretty cool." Like. I got into conversation. I was like, "How much is he?" He's like, "It's like $20 a month. You can live. It's just like drag and drop, like super easy to manage." And I'm like, "I guess we got a website now." And I had already bought the domain name, like I think a few months earlier, and so I think I had to pay like a little extra to like use my own domain name. But I was like, "This is awesome," and so I just.
When you
stole a bunch of
lazy
stuff.
gods, they will for you.
Literally, some dude just emailed us. I was like, we got a website now, Troy.
Some dude, we're interested also. So, just saying.
Hey, maybe we'll reach out to some dude on your behalf, and maybe he'll give you something that's exactly perfect, and you could just put it live.
100%. 100%.
It's gonna be their website on them with just our
Oh yeah. It will be that. It literally will be that. Like I think there's like
it's gonna be like
5 different choices to choose from, and then you can like modify whichever choice you get, but this one just worked best for us.
We have the same coach, like Bring It On, where they all
go
cheers.
Like those old sticker books with a background.
Oh Lord.
Peel it off and put a new character on it.
Oh goodness.
Oh my god.
Well, now that the chat's working again, let's say hi to everyone. Hi everyone, welcome in. I don't know what happened. I don't know.
Hello.
Daniel probably did it.
Hello.
Importantly, call out to the Buckaroo Bonsai shirt.
Of course, Bonsai Institute. Representing.
Represent. Well, everyone. Please welcome Mike and Troy from All Guys Bad Movies. We were catching up with them and just finding out, what it is that drives them in their passion project, which is their podcast. Which, Autumn, I think you had a really great question, which is sort of like I think going to be like the staple of this. And if you want to ask about like where they find the inspiration.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I know that you guys have really busy lives. We work together, and so I know what your workload is like. You guys both have kids. I have kids. I know what that's like. There's got to be times when and Paul has plants. And so there's got to be times when there's just like, we can't do it this week. It's not going to happen. Like, what makes you stick with it over and over and over again? I mean, the pandemic and the at-home orders are gone. There's no reason for you guys to do this to connect with other people anymore. So what is your drive? What keeps you going?
I have an answer, but you want to go first, Mike?
I think, to tell you the truth, we're going to have these conversations anyways. And so it's like, why would we not spend a couple extra hours to just keep the podcast going? You know what I mean? Like, and I don't know about Troy, but I really enjoy recording the podcast. Like, it's so much fun. I mean, I love chatting with him. He is also one of my best friends. And so who doesn't want to talk to their friend about something they both love? You know what I mean?
I don't like
What about you, Troy?
I love it.
So yeah, like everything Mike said, and the only times that we haven't been weekly, other than sickness and vacation,
right,
was when I had, and it's more recent, I had something else creative.
Right.
That I wanted to work on, and I just couldn't do it all. The thing is, if I wasn't we record the podcast, and that's fun. The work comes into the actual edit, which I actually do enjoy, right? But it is a little bit of work. If I wasn't doing that, I would be playing a video game or something that's not really productive. Yeah. So I chastise myself and say, you know what? You can give 4 to 5 hours stay up a little bit later tonight, finish off that podcast, because the reward is when it goes live and then I listen back to it.
Yeah.
I sometimes forget that I recorded it. I can listen to it objectively, right? Like it's not me. I'm
right. Once it's out there.
Yeah, being entertained by us, right?
Yeah.
So, which may sound like a weird.
No, I get that. Like I do that too. Like Paul and I go back and listen to like be an audience member and try to experience and what can we fine tune, and it is enjoyable too. I'll find myself laughing at our stupid things that we just did 2 hours ago.
Me too. Right? Me too.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. I feel like it's very rare to find 4 people who do kind of what we do. We're like, I don't mind listening or watching myself. Like, especially maybe it's because we all.
I'm a big fan, so
yeah. I mean, it's my
myself.
That's what it is. But that's interesting.
For me, I want to be better. Like, I because I want to improve and and
get notes.
The show has transformed over the past 2 years because, like I said, first year was just, can we keep this going?
Right.
Yeah.
Second year, I'm like, okay, I know you keep this going.
Now where do we go?
Now, how can I raise the bar of the production? What other, and it's going to require a little bit more time, like finding clips, finding little funny sound bites.
Yeah.
But it makes for a better show.
Yeah.
And for Mike's mom and the 3 other people that listen, they'll be much more entertained.
My mom is easily our #1 fan. She listens to every episode the moment they go live. And
I'm willing to challenge her.
Oh, okay. Well, it's nice to know. Thank you.
I want to call out Toy Quest 101. That's Miguel. He was our guest of our very first episode of Passion Project. We had a different name, and so he's right there with us. He has been in the grind for quite a long time, and it's the same thing of like, how do you keep going? And it's interesting to where you were saying like, hey, I'm going to play a video game or do whatever. Like, I feel like this checks the box of being productive while also being fun and being something fun to do, and being diverting and being creative, being entertained while entertaining, trying to entertain. So I can definitely relate to that.
We'll let the listeners decide whether or not it's entertaining.
Right.
We're not.
I mean, I'm definitely laughing at you, but
are you laughing with us? Or are you laughing, at us? That's the question.
The first time I ever cooked one, but I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
Exactly.
Right.
You're not wrong, Dwayne. You're not wrong.
Very good. Yeah, you guys will have just as much fun as we've had listening to it. I freaked out our guests, everyone, because during our production call earlier this week, I was like, I've been listening to you nonstop for a week, and I know so much about probably more
30 episodes in a week.
And I wanted to follow
I'm about 42 episodes deep. I'm almost caught up.
Well, it's so funny because I looked at our stats, and you can see like there's one day where there were like 30 episodes listened to in like a day, and I was like, oh my god, that was totally Paul.
Are you listening to the entire episode, or are you skimming
entire episode?
Okay.
Nope, start to finish.
So you listen to Mike's part as well. Oh, okay.
It's just Mike. Nope. That's
usually
I haven't figured out
stats just seems a dip when Mike talks, and then it's
yeah. Thanks. Yeah. That's why I try not to talk so much.
Positives, the false positives.
So again, me and Autumn. I mean, everyone here knows we told you guys we have chemistry because we've known each other for 10 plus years, and we just kind of know. There's just a feeling, right? Like you kind of just know with your
get into the
host.
groove.
And you guys have it fantastically. It's the first thing I told Autumn. I was like, your guys' banter, your chemistry is great. But the thing that I also really loved when I listened to your show is just sort of your very different approaches to each film, and it's very concise. I feel that, or you can tell you both have a certain flavor of how you talk about movies. Mike, I know you come. Like your family comes from the industry. Troy, I don't know if yours does, but like, how would you say your individual sort of relationships with movies have like really impacted this podcast?
Well, and it's interesting you bring that up. I don't know if Mike and I ever talked about this specifically, but Mike has roots in the industry. He has crazy, amazing stories of being on set for Hook and Spielberg, meeting Spielberg reading them. Stories on, while shooting Jurassic Park. Meanwhile, I'm in North Carolina, in southern rural North Carolina, And it may as well have been talking about the land of Oz, right? Like it is as real to me as that. But still, I think what our connection to cinema, television, and other forms of entertainment, mainly movies, it transcends that, right? And I think it, in a really cool way, shows how someone who has family in the industry, but still, because sometimes you can have that,
you get jaded,
but don't appreciate it, right?
Yeah.
And don't like really understand entertainment, why things work. And then for me, movies were definitely an escape. It was like, oh my God, I wish I can be in that world. So does that make sense, or am I just babbling?
No, 100%.
Totally.
Okay.
It's definitely a land of Oz.
Mike, what's your take on that? Like,
yeah, I mean, like those are the movies the 5 movies that I was in. My family got me a present for my birthday a couple of years ago. It's Apollo 13.
I want to know what our 6 degrees of separation are between you and me.
Apollo 13.
You got to top Hercules. Okay, go for it.
Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves, the best shrunk movie, right? Yeah.
Nice.
Casper and the Flintstones.
I love it.
Flintstones. He was the kid that shot Rick Moranis.
My face. No, it's 5. My face took up the whole screen in the Flintstones for just about half a second.
Okay, wait. Tell me. Okay, Apollo 13, Casper, Flintstones. What were they again?
Hook.
Oh, Hook. Okay.
And Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves. The third installment in the Honey, We Shrunk the Kids.
I'm going to find the shortest route between you and me in the industry.
You mean besides just you and me? Okay,
you know what? I bet you actually, I think that faster than me, I think JJ Joe, one of our, in the chats there, I think
are you going to use a spreadsheet to do this? If not, just lie to me and tell you will.
I'm glad we can commiserate. Someone else understands how ridiculous the spreadsheets are. It's fine.
It's insane.
We when we first worked on a project together, me, Mike, and Troy, and they made a comment about the spreadsheet, and I was like, you guys don't even know the half of it.
Like I thought I knew what a spreadsheet was, but then I saw her spreadsheets.
Yeah.
This should be hung like the Louvre or a museum. Like this is like
spreadsheets within spreadsheets. It's like spreadsheet inception with her.
Yeah. Don't stare too long, you'll get lost.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. You should start hearing things. It gets bad.
Yeah, so I mean that's insane. With me, as far as my take on films, like I feel like I went to a very small film school, I went to Santa Monica College where we actually it has a pretty nice film program. And, there's so many people I really liked. And even those people that I really like, there's so many just people who are so highfalutin, you know what I mean? They just, so many times, so many times I would hear complaints about like, oh, another superhero movie or something like that, and I'm like, and while but I'll tell you the truth, this was like before Endgame, so this was back when like the movies were actually pretty good. You know what I mean? This wasn't like post Endgame garbage that was coming out. This was like the good stuff. This was prime time. And I was just like, whatever. Yeah. And I don't know. I'm just someone who wants to go into a film and most of the time enjoy myself.
Yeah.
But and that's how I go into most movies. You know what I mean? Like I don't like most artsy fartsy sort of films, to tell you the truth. And call me a
That's where the laundry meter comes into play. Mike will go to sleep in 5 minutes if you don't grab his attention.
Yeah, I literally, if I'm watching a movie and if I'm watching something at home, that's a truth. Like it's funny because we came up with the laundry meter and then I realized it's a completely useless rubric, right? Because the laundry meter, all that determines is how tired I am at that moment. You know what I mean?
You need to explain to people at home what the laundry meter is.
Okay. So Troy came up with this idea because I would talk about, how many loads of laundry I folded while I was watching the movie. I put a movie on, I dump a basket of laundry next to me, and I fold the laundry and put it in the basket as I watch the movie.
And it occurred to me, like, how many loads is it a different? I started asking Mike these questions, like, so how many loads did it take for this one? And then it became like a thing, a measurement. Of
yeah.
So like just more loads or fewer loads?
The more loads I needed to do it determines how boring the movie was, even though that's not actually accurate. It really just determines how tired I am when I'm watching said movie. You know what I mean?
He found our connection. It's true. I did once accidentally yell at Phil Collins, who appeared in the movie Hook, which also starred Mike. So there you go.
Oh.
2 degrees.
I actually had a line. I had a line in Hook, but they cut it out. So that was sad.
Collins, did he deserve it?
No, it was an accident, and it was really embarrassing if I was the kind of person. Well, I was still young. I worked at Disney. I worked at Disney. I was a production assistant in the story department, and we were in the Hat Building in Burbank. Talking about the animation building.
Sure.
And so they'd bring through tours, and it was very this is the showpiece, right? I was working, and I had a big stack of story artwork. And I had an assistant as a production assistant. He was a temp, and his name was Phil. Okay, and we had a cubicle workspace. Yeah, and the cubicles are all open. And so I'm walking toward them to go to another area, and I have all of it, and I realize some of the artwork's missing. So I yell, "Hey, Phil!" Where's, not angrily, but just yell it, because he's a couple cubicles over, right? And then I look up, and there's Phil Collins and and Katzenberg.
Oh my god!
Yeah, and
I didn't know that.
Bunch of high-level execs giving Phil Collins a tour to convince him to do the music for Tarzan.
Priceless.
And they all stop in their tracks because I seem like a weird freaking fan who just yelled, "Hey, Phil!" across the hall, and it was not that far. And my head, and I was telling Paul, this in my mind, this lasted for about 20 minutes of pausing in my head, going, "Please answer, please answer, please answer," because if Phil,
doesn't answer.
If he says I'm off the hook, because they know I was talking to someone else.
And if I was the real Phil,
oh man,
anything. Yes, and it was just
stroking my chin hair.
And I am a huge fan of Phil Collins, massive fan. So at the same time that I'm processing and terrified, I'm also like, "Oh, it's Phil Collins." And probably a second later, Phil, my assistant's like, "Yeah," and then I just acted like none of that happened. I looked down. I'm like, "Hey, do you have scene 38?" And he went, "Yeah, I got it here." And I'm like, "Cool, great." But I did accidentally yell, "Hey, Phil!"
And that 1 second felt like an eternity, right?
God, yeah, it turned my hair blue.
That moment inspired a future Phil Collins song.
It probably did.
It did. Crazy girl in hallway.
Yeah, exactly.
Blue-haired devil is about autumn.
Yeah. It's the genesis of my villain arc.
There
Steve.
you go.
I love it.
Zing.
Hello.
Yeah.
No.
A big question for you. JJ Joe wants to know, why doesn't Mike have an IMDb page? He's trying to do some research.
I do. It's Michael Stella. Look up Michael Stella. And I don't even know if my films, the movie stuff is on there. It'll probably say electrical department or
what about Court TV? Didn't you do a Court TV?
Oh yeah, I was on Court TV, or not Court TV. It was We the People with Gloria Allred.
Nice.
And it was actually a lot of fun, to tell you the truth, because I was trying to get back into acting at the time. And those are, they're all, because they're all fake. They're all those. There's only one of them. I think the People's Court is actually an arbitration company, but the rest of them are fake. Yeah, the rest of them are fake, and you sign a piece of paper to say whatever the judge decides in this arbitration is legally binding. But for most of them, it's just they give you a script of who you are, who the other person is. This is the situation. You learn all the details. Yeah, you learn all the details of your character. You learn all the details of the situation.
Judge Wapner was real, though, right?
Don't you say it. He wasn't. Don't you say he wasn't,
Judge
Mike.
Wapner wasn't real?
Was that People's Court?
Yeah,
People's Court. Yeah, no, I said People's Court. I think is the only real
arbitration.
All right. Well,
yeah. But it's not an actual court.
Continues to make sense. Okay.
But it's not an actual court. It's an arbitration company, and you sign a paper saying that this judge can arbitrate the situation, and it's a legally binding, contract after that. But yeah, it was really fun, and it was funny because like. I didn't notice it, but like when my family watched it, they're like, Mike, like you dominated that episode. I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, they barely showed the other person at all because you were just talking so much. And it was funny. The moment I walked off, like the guy.
Oh, okay. I thought.
No, thanks, Troy. Yeah. Thanks for the fat joke. That's some low hanging fruit there, buddy.
Hey, it's low hanging fruit.
And I was like walking after it was all done. I was like, holy shit, that was fun. And I thought to myself, man, I should have played it up even more douchey. Like I should have been like the biggest jerk in the world, right? But hindsight.
That's why you always be yourself.
But you make up for it now, Mike.
Exactly. And the guy's walking me back to the green room, and he's like, dude, that was the best one we recorded today. I was like, really? He was like, everyone was on the radio, just like talking about how good it was. So I was like, oh, thanks.
This show is my golden grail. I've scoured the internet trying to find this.
I think that if anyone can find it, I think somebody in our chats. I feel pretty confident.
It's called We the People with Gloria Allred. The episode is called TV Tantrum. And it's like in the 230s or something. I think episode 200 and something. I don't remember exactly.
A lot of information to work with.
But I think that might be on my IMDb page.
No, JJ said he just went to it, and you do not have any films on there. But maybe you're right. Maybe the show would be.
Yeah, I thought We the People with Gloria Allred was on there, but hey, who knows? Yeah. Anyways,
we'll find it. Okay, we'll find it.
You'll find it.
I would love to see that.
Mike's definitely not a fraud. He didn't make up all this shit and just. Or
that would be even
do I really know you, Mike?
Yeah.
Okay, Mike, we have a reality TV connection too. I was on A Baby Story as a photographer photographing an expectant couple in I want to say 2002 or 1, like right around there. So like reality TV. So maybe we have that 6 degrees of separation.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I want to.
Oh yeah, David Kenner. That's it. Yeah. I'm David Kenner. That's my name in the episode. Okay, that's right, JJ.
Found you. Listen to the episode.
Yes,
Kenner.
that is, and yeah, it's called TV Tantrum. Thank you, JJ. Yes.
Closer.
So but just so you know, JJ, I found all this information. You got to go deeper, buddy. Come on, let's see how deep you can go. Can you find the episode before the show is on? Yeah, well, I'm just like. Throwing down the gauntlet. Can he do it?
It's like, would you like me to mail the episode to 123 Wisteria Lane for you?
Yes, please.
Or do you want it sent to your cousin at Main Street?
Now I'm afraid.
JJ's mostly harmless. It's
mostly
just
okay.
Those, the butterfly when you get glitter bomb.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
There you go. He's glitter bomb level.
Just make sure my eyes are closed and my mouth is closed. Glitter bomb me all you want. That's okay.
And there's the clip for the show right there.
Exactly.
There it is. Isolate that footage, Daniel. Thank you. Yeah, he's more rascally than evil.
Got it.
Dirty comments popped in my mind, but I'll keep it to myself.
Is everyone okay if we go back to the interview? Is that fine?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's fine. That's
Oh,
let's
what are we
do
doing
it.
here?
Jeez.
I do want to say the funny thing for me, because I work with you guys, and sometimes working on a project, we'll work together a lot in a short amount of time. I find myself when I'm listening to podcasts and sitting and working, I'm so used to chatting with you guys. I'll find myself talking without realizing it. I'll go, yeah, totally. But did you ever see? Holy idiot.
That is gold.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Actually, have you listened to a recent episode, Autumn, like the last 2 or 3?
No, I'm a completionist.
I found that Troy sound drop. The one
you did find it.
Yeah, the Troy. It's now my introduction. It's part of my introduction.
Yes.
Thank you.
Nice. Because Troy was saying that Stella has Stella, and then I said, High School Musical has Gabriella yelling Troy.
It's so good.
Definitely never would have known that.
Awesome.
You're missing out.
My work is done here.
If you guys can review that, okay, so getting us back on track, you guys have done a lot of movies, a lot of different types of movies. Are there any movies that you guys have like mulled over a ton of different times? You're like, we're not doing that.
No, there's been times where we want to do stuff and then the time just kind of passes. Like it'll be a new movie and then it just, for whatever reason, we just don't hit it.
But I will say, but there are movies that if it's just going to be a love fest, like we love Goodfellas. We review Goodfellas. We're just going to be saying, "Oh, that scene was so cool," and this
part's great.
Cool.
Yeah,
like
it's not interesting.
It's usually more interesting if it's either a complex movie like Tar, even though we kind of like gave it a negative review, or
Banshees of Inisherin was another one that was actually a pretty good review. That was a pretty good episode.
Yeah,
we both liked it, but there was a lot to unpack there. Right?
Yeah,
empty calories,
and that's
the ones we disagree on.
The ones we disagree on are the ones that are a lot of fun. But to tell you the truth, it's really funny because we tried to do some bad movies, and it ends up just being kind of a boring episode because there's not that much to talk about. You know what I mean? Like,
I think the extremes are not as interesting. It's the ones that like you're saying, they're more nuanced, that are complicated, that are good and bad.
My 13-year-old daughter, she's my biggest critic. You don't do Sharktopus. And I'm like, we could do Sharktopus, but that Sharktopus is not pretending to be a good movie.
Who is it? Bradley, who wants us to do like Velocipaster or something?
Yes.
I love that movie.
But it's like that's fucking damn.
Or it might be Joe. I can't remember. Somebody who wants.
Yeah.
I'd rather if it's a bad movie, I'd rather it be a movie that really tried really hard to be good, but made really terrible decisions and fell short.
And then you can talk about why and like how.
Or as I like to do, how you can fix it. My writer hat comes on and I can't resist. So.
That's one little jingle we need to do. We got to do Troy's writer's room, and every time you start rewriting the movie.
Volunteer quarterbacking.
Well, it's funny because I do it sometimes. Like I do it a little bit, but that's really more Troy's thing. Is because Troy's a published writer. He also has written scripts, and he's. He has all this information. He's really smart when it comes to that stuff. But so that's why he always gets into that space, because he understands how story works a lot better than I do. And I mean, if I was less of a simpleton, maybe I would start rewriting these films too. But
both
my soft brain can't wrap around the dialogue.
A ball. But see, Paul, you said this earlier. But I'm approaching it from a writer standpoint. But equally valid is, I don't think Mike would call himself a writer, but you do understand story and structure. You understand it intuitively as a person.
Well, because you create stories. In your work, like you're going to create a story, and so you
go with that.
But I will say I am a little bit more open-minded and forgiving about trying something different and new. Or might get that degree.
I think I'd agree with that. I'm very much. What did we say before? Like you're way more willing to forgive a movie that kind of falls off story-wise if they're trying to do something really creative in like the tone or the style, or it's really stylized.
The aspiration. I'm like, hey, I can appreciate that. You tried.
And I'm not as forgiving, because I don't want you to.
Mike
if you can't make the film good, like the style doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like the way I look at it, it's like, if you got a car and it's just like a hoopty, but you put a spoiler and big fat rims and, like, why didn't you just fix all the dents and get a new paint job? You know what I mean? Like worry about that shit after you got the car looking the way it should look. You know what I mean?
I feel like Mike gets like personally insulted because
you
stole 2 hours of his time and he didn't like it.
I mean, you helped with the laundry, and that was great.
Exactly.
Where I'm more like, oh, you tried to ride the bike and you fell off, and maybe
cute.
next time you'll get them in the sequel.
Yeah, keep going, Tiger.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, look, if you can't ride the bike, get the goddamn scooter. You can ride the scooter. It's okay. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't want to see you falling on the bike all the time. You know what I mean?
There's enough bike riders out there.
Exactly.
Plenty of bike riders. We don't need another one. Goodness. I mean, if Autumn's requesting the pirate movie, can I request Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey?
Oh, I saw that was online. I'm totally down to do that.
Dude, it's insulting.
Really?
It's very bad. It's one of those movies
like so bad it's good, or just
yeah. It's like it's so bad. I had so much respect for the people who made it because I'm like, how did you pull this shit off? Where you got people to buy in on this? Right. That's impressive.
Right.
So
there's some bullshitters.
Pooh became public domain, right?
Yes, and that's the first thing that happened. Like they were waiting.
Yep.
That's brand recognition.
They probably had that shit written already. They had it written already, ready to go. Like we're as soon as it goes. Yeah, day one. We got the script. I'll tell you the truth, they probably had it signed off and they probably had everyone ready to go.
And it was edited. Boom.
Yeah, it was probably a very easy green.
Because literally, I remember hearing that it went into public domain, and then like a week later, the trailer came out. I was like, "Whoa!"
Isn't Steamboat Willie become a public domain? Did I read that?
Yeah, I think so.
That's nuts.
Also, just we got JG's made a recommendation. He said he got through the first 20 minutes of Blood and Honey, but he does recommend that you do Firebirds with Nicolas Cage and Tommy Lee Jones. And that brings me to, I was going to say, anybody in the chats, if you guys have recommendations for movies that you think fit that bill, by all means, throw them in here.
Yes,
and
bring
you never know. Yeah.
We would love to have.
Boy and Mike, if not here, where else can people send you guys recommendations? Like, where would you prefer them?
baldguysbadmovies@gmail.com is somewhere, and then you can also you can go to the website. There's a contact us page on the website, which I think also just goes to baldguysbadmovies.com.
We also post on YouTube, and you drop comments there. It could be about the review or suggestions.
Yeah.
I just noticed something here. Pull the link off.
Oh, Facebook as well. We're on Facebook. So I mean, if you comment on anything on Facebook or send us messages there.
Description of this video, I put all your links. So
okay, great.
Go to the description of the video and get them. Also, I wanted to point out, did you notice how we've all named ourselves? And I think it's interesting. Look at you guys. Look at us.
I noticed that as well.
Paul Hernandez.
And, me and Joy are like, what a bunch of nerds.
That's funny.
High five.
Our old video producer, Autumn, our friend Alan, he used to make fun of me because we were doing videos at Comic-Con. And I must have done. Oh, Alan.
Yeah, you guys know Alan. Yeah. That does our videos.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we worked together at Sideshow, and I did about 60 videos in the span of 2 days, where every video was just, "Hey everyone, it's Paul Hernandez," and they did a quick clip of them all together, just internally, of me saying it 60 times. That's like our siren. We would play it so that everyone would get out of the building because everyone hated hearing my voice.
Did you say it 60 times, different inflections?
Hey everybody, it's Paul Hernandez.
Paul Hernandez. Paul Hernandez.
Hello.
Paul Hernandez.
That's funny.
I mean, you guys, now after you get to like the 47th one, you're like, let's just have fun with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely. You gotta have fun. I mean, it's just,
Well, you know, guys, we've kind of gotten a little bit towards that. We don't have to end it now, but we've made you guys a lot of friends so far.
Yeah.
Let's make some enemies here.
So.
You know, one thing I wanted. One thing we like to do is I like. We asked this earlier in our Facebook group, and everyone let us know. But you guys watch so much film. You watch so much film your entire life. What are some surprising hot takes that you guys may have acquired or picked up throughout the course of watching this? Like, I'll give you an example.
No, you don't need to. I'm taking this one, Paul. I got this. Okay.
Ready.
Thank you, Mike Stella.
Star Wars is overrated. Boom. Drop that one right there. That is my hot take. I cannot get through A New Hope without falling asleep, no matter how many loads of laundry I do.
Infinite laundry? Is that infinite?
It's an infinite laundry meter. Like it's like
all Star Wars, all of it.
Well, I got another hot. No. Look, let me put it this way. I like the idea of Star Wars more than I like the films of Star Wars. Okay.
And bookmark deleted.
Good job. Good job, Mike. I'm glad
it's better.
It does get better. It does get better. Okay. So
you made a lot of friends.
Now
Shame.
Absolutely. But I mean, look, I do actually like Empire Strikes Back, and I do like Return of the Jedi because Luke is finally not a little. I cursed a lot so far, but you know what I'm saying. Yes. He ain't a little bee no more, and I'm finally happy to see him grow a pair and start acting
Wait. Are you saying
a badass?
Empire, he's just a whining little bee? Is that what you're saying?
No, he's saying in Star Wars, but then
in Star Wars,
in A New Hope.
No, but you're
in Empire, he's still kind of whiny too. Yeah, whatever, absolutely.
I need
what are you talking about? Give me a break, dude.
Hey,
he walks in his badass black robe, dude, into Jabba's lair. I'm like, dude, this guy's dope. Okay,
you just want the cool hero, the journey hero. Who cares? Let's just have him kick ass.
Yes, that's what I wanted.
Yeah, cool the whole time.
I mean, look, I'm fine. Look, But what did I say? I do like Empire Strikes Back. It is actually one of my favorite. It was actually probably my favorite Star Wars film. But what I think is really funny about Star Wars fandom is that
we're awesome.
Adults, when they watched the original Star Wars films, they were like, this is some cheesy ass kid stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And most adults are just kind of like wrote it off, like whatever. Their kids loved it, right? 20 years later, it's a classic. They make the prequels. All the people who like the original series thinks they're utter crap, right? 20 years later, they are held on high by all the kids who watch those, right? And you know what's
amazing about Star Wars?
You know what's going to be hilarious? In 20 years, we're going to have kids who think the sequel trilogy is the best thing that ever happened to Star Wars. I guarantee you. And here's another hot take for me. I actually like the sequel series.
Here we go, right here. This is, I'm going to say to what you're saying, that it is made for children.
Yeah.
And I think that is what makes it so great, because there's lots of things that are made for children.
Yeah.
Why does Star Wars connect with us as children so much that we carry it with us for our whole lives? If you loved it as a child, you will carry it with you forever, and it will bring you happiness and happiness to hate it forever.
But I didn't carry it forever because I loved it when I was a kid. I grew up I grew up loving the original trilogy so much. Yeah. And now I have grown into not liking Star Wars. It is literally like I have gone full circle, flipped 180.
No. I'm over here with Troy. Hold on, we need to switch.
Take the word for a second. Now, I just are you saying that, because I will admit there's an overabundance of Star Wars media right now, and it makes it less special. Are you looking at it from that just overload of Star Wars? And
no.
So the thing you loved as a kid, you look at it now, and say, "Wow, that's boring and that's terrible and that's not good."
Look,
and
there are things I like about it.
What films you loved as a kid that you still like? Just to give us a comparison.
Because you said you still like Empire and Jedi.
I do like them, but look, it was a different time, right? Pacing in films was way different. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Back in the day, you could get away with making a slow film and it's okay, but now I like a faster paced movie. You know, I feel like I've always kind of wanted a faster paced movie, and I like the fact that it's because I'm sleepy.
But I think you're arguing against yourself right now, because if that's what I'm saying is that Star Wars gets you as a child and hangs on to you, because you're saying that you still like Empire and Return, which are the slowest pace of all of the Star Wars movies, and you still like them the best of all of them.
No way, there is okay. No way. You think there's okay?
Return of the Jedi is slower.
Well, it's only slower because it's longer. Okay, like that's the whole
thing. Come on.
Dude,
I think you are seeing it through nostalgia glasses because it still hang on to you.
Yep.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think so. Like, you think that? Okay, so Empire, I think is a better movie. Okay, that's why I allow it to be slower. Okay,
it's better than Rogue One.
Yeah. I like it. Well, I don't know. I liked Rogue One, but it is hard for me to. Yeah, it is hard for me to like. I think what Troy said is it has a lot of good points of what Troy said. Like there is so much, it's hard to really separate it all at this point.
For me, Rogue One, Star Wars is a fable. I forget, someone said, it was a quote, it's not really science fiction, it's fantasy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Right? Absolutely.
Rogue One was made for adults.
Yeah.
It had a way different tone and it didn't feel like Star Wars to me.
Right.
Yep.
But it was weird because I saw Empire first before I saw Star Wars.
Before you saw New Hope.
And it blew my wig off. See, it's still and it works as a fully standalone movie because it dares to have the heroes lose at the end, and the stakes were so big. So look, I can see the flaws in every Star Wars movie.
Sure.
Empire is just so perfect to me. Like it's just it's hard for anyone to see that and think, but if you know where the story's going to go, right, and you watch it again, I can see someone getting bored because you know where it's going. But sometimes you have to hey, look, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but the first time you see something, experience something, that's usually the best gauge of what that thing actually accomplishes, right?
Yeah.
With fandom, you rewatch something over and over and over, and there's a downside to this appetite of wanting to have all, like for Star Wars. I think it's just too much. Like it's just too much Marvel now. Now it's like nothing that's special. But I'm old, so I grew up in the analog time.
I think also the reason why I might have liked it back in the day was because I was young. I was of the time. It was in in that time where you forgave a slower pacing, and at that point I was very connected to it. You know, I mean, we watched it every day when I was little.
100%.
So we had a VHS tape that had
just
Michael Jackson's "Beat It" recorded, because we didn't buy anything, right? We had only recorded all. Yeah, okay. So it had Michael Jackson's "Beat It" and then Star Wars.
Wait, maybe that's why you didn't like it, because it somehow bled over, and Michael Jackson was
just watching.
But I still love Michael Jackson's "Beat It."
I think you're thinking of Captain EO. Is what you're thinking right now.
I love Captain EO. Dude, I was so happy.
I think you just watched Captain EO.
That part when Michael Jackson got his hand cut off and lost his leg.
Exactly.
And then
oh my God.
dancing.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But dude, do you guys remember when they brought Captain EO back to Disneyland for a couple years? Oh, dude, that was the golden age. I was so happy. Yeah, I was so happy to see it again. Sorry.
So not big Star Wars then. So for both of you, I mean, we've got.
Hey, you wanted a hot take. I think I gave you a pretty good hot take.
But well, Troy, what about you? Well, let's get your hot take before we move on a little bit.
Whoa! After all that, what was the original question again?
Is there like a movie hot take? And you have a very good example that we just went through.
A movie hot take. Now, are you talking about a specific movie, or Mike just talked about
anything?
He just took a dump on the whole franchise. So,
yeah. He just pissed off 80% of our fans. That's cool.
You know what? Well,
hey, you said you wanted us to make some enemies, so there you go. I think I did it.
Well, I brought it up. I can talk about Marvel. I grew up reading Marvel comics. I'm a huge Marvel fan. For me, it's not like Marvel or DC. I want everything to succeed. I want everything to be cool for everyone, right? But I think, and Mike and I have talked about this, like the last few Marvel films, and I don't think it's a big secret. Most people feel this. They've kind of lost their way where movies, like I saw Doctor Strange and I thought I would love it, but there's no lasting consequences to anything.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
And then Wanda shows up and they kill her. Like after you've had WandaVision, you built up this whole journey.
Oh my gosh.
And I think it's become too, just like Star Wars, the Disney machine is pumping out too much.
They raised the bar, so like, where do you go?
With exception,
like
Loki is acceptable. I love
Loki's amazing.
I'm really liking Loki. Yeah.
Endgame, and then came out with WandaVision and Loki. I was so excited. It's like, this whole new world is opening up, and I am here for it 100%.
Yep.
Right.
And then it's like, every film after that has been.
Dude, WandaVision, I thought was one of the best things that Marvel ever made. It blew me away.
Well, quantity doesn't equate quality, but also there's something special that I don't think we'll ever get it back.
No spoilers, Felix. No spoilers on the Loki finale. I'm watching it after this.
Oh yeah,
no spoilers.
I know.
I haven't watched it yet. I'm not gonna look down there. But yeah, I grew up. I'm a 48-year-old man. No surprise. And I remember to see a movie trailer, you had to go to the movies to see it.
Yeah.
And maybe like a week out from the release, there's some commercials on TV. And you would discover that there's a new movie being made by seeing another movie. That's when you would learn. And then I read like Starlog and different magazines, entertainment magazines. Again, I was in rural South, so any media I could ingest. But and again, I don't think we'll ever get that specialness back.
No,
there's so
you can't
much
put it back in the bottle now. Yeah.
Yeah, like
it's the downside of the the amazing accessibility of all the entertainment at your fingertips and so many great things that have come from that. Like there's been some really good things that have come out of that, like Ted Lasso. I mean, they can crank out this great show, and it's right there.
With the good, with the bad, there's the good. So it's not like it's all terrible, but when you're trying to nourish a franchise like Star Wars, for example, going back to that, those first 3 films are special because there was really nothing else out there like it. So it captured that moment of time. And I think we grow up and we want to capture that feeling, but I think it's gone forever, folks.
I think
just like the Indiana Jones franchise. We just saw the last Indiana Jones movie and it was okay, wasn't necessary. And that's not why I like Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones is wish fulfillment. Like James Bond. James Bond, you put yourself in the character of Bond. I don't need to know his backstory. I need him to be a cool ass hero. And Harrison Ford just needs to be as rough and tough.
And that's why I felt like they messed everything up by at the end of The Last Crusade, they literally ride off into the sunset.
Which is the perfect ending.
And it was perfect. And then they made another movie. And
I shed a tear as a kid. I told Mike this. Like, it made me sad because my Raiders of the Lost Ark is my favorite film of all time. It is number one. It is the perfect film, in my opinion. And And Mike, you love Crusade the best.
I love
and
the last.
He loves Crusade the best because you got to
my favorite as well.
You got to actually understand Indiana Jones more as a character.
And
for me, I was okay with him just being a action dude going on adventures, right?
He could be two-dimensional, and that was okay.
Both outlooks are valid, right? There's there's validity to each one, but I just think there's just too much content for Marvel, and I hope they slow down at least.
I do want to say, I think we talked about how now there's all these streaming platforms and there's just like deluge of material out there, and it does make these older franchises come back to try to like get their name in there and get capitalize on all this, and that's a downside, I think. But also there's such an equalizer thing now. Like there's so much out there, and it's like a treasure hunt, finding something special, and it becomes like there's so much to search through. It used to be like going to the movies was a special thing. It's not a special thing anymore, but I still look at it as a positive thing. Like now you can find these jewels, you can find these amazing things, that stories you never would have been able to see before because it just wasn't available to people to make these films and get these stories out there. So while you have to wade through a lot of noise, there's so many more amazing, beautiful, incredible stories out there to be discovered if you can find them. You gotta be your own Indiana Jones.
Well, not like Indy, but I put John Wick in that category. It came out in the theater. It did okay. It blew up in home video, and then became like $1 billion franchise. And it created a new IP, new character, new style of action, and now it's been done to death. And there's been copycats, but it does happen. The first Matrix was like that, like the Matrix, and then 2 and 3 came out.
Oh my god!
Whatever.
That's so disappointing.
I feel like we could talk 3 more hours nonstop. Like I feel like
what did we say?
I know.
We were gonna, just so everyone knows, we were also gonna play a game with Troy and Mike. We call it Lost in Translation, ironically enough, for our movie buffs over here. And we couldn't do it because me too. I just watched it for the first time like 2 weeks ago.
Well, you know what's so funny?
AI ruined it, like it ruins everything.
That is a movie that I did not like when I first watched it because I was tired, and then I rewatched it. Lost in Translation.
Okay, got it.
And then I watched it like a few months later, like fresh, and I just absolutely loved it. So that just goes to show you how important the laundry is.
Yeah,
making me enjoy
you don't like
film.
Something. Try folding laundry. That's our takeaway.
Exactly. And I will say in general that applies to everyone. I think I watched Tetris. Tetris I watched and I was tired, and we strongly disagreed on the Tetris movie.
Oh, did you rewatch it and liked it?
No, I have not rewatched it.
But
I wonder if I were to rewatch it.
Oh, okay.
With a fresher mind, right, or open mind, then maybe I would have liked it. I
really liked Tetris. I liked it a lot. I thought it was pretty damn good.
I liked it too, Mike. I think
Paul, me and you.
I feel like we're lined up properly over here.
Yeah. We did.
Now we are.
Something about this full name complex is just.
I know.
Something about not needing to, like, who we are. Come on.
But we got nice last names. Paul Hernandez, Mike Stella. They're good. They're good sounding full names.
And you got Autumn and whatever.
Autumn and Troy, we're your friends. Paul Hernandez and Mike
Stella.
They're the cops.
Should we call you Mr. Hernandez?
Yeah, we're Chips.
I know. And then with my mustache, I definitely have got. It's like a cop, an undercover cop.
I just noticed the 4 of us right now are like a game of guess who.
Yeah.
Do they have glasses? Do they have a beard?
I loved that game as a kid.
You sure you love it?
Hispanic?
Did you play it as an adult? And then maybe now you hate
it? Maybe check your nostalgia glasses.
Yeah,
yeah. Oh goodness. Well, everyone, we are as who put it here? As Felix said, we're in overtime now. And we've all got Loki to watch. I've got a girlfriend to pick up from the airport. So I better not miss that. But before we
that
go,
airport in Dallas is awful. So good luck with that one, buddy.
Not at 11 p.m. It's why
just the way it's designed, how you have to drive.
You're gonna mess up our chances for Dallas Fort Worth Airport sponsorships. So please.
Yes, Mike's giving a review of the airport now, folks.
It's awful. It's awful.
Tell us more about the airport.
On the next episode,
just do airplane.
Maybe it's actually just my parents who have no idea how to get anywhere there. Maybe that
was the airports, you guys. That's a new podcast idea. Just review airports.
All guys in bad airports.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
There's a long list of those, by the way. So
we'll have to live
number 20.
We'll have to live stream that. Us walking around like, what the heck is going on here? That'll have a lot of explicatives.
Nope. Don't like that.
Don't like that.
Yeah.
Bald guys, bad airports. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. Well,
they only sell Dasani water.
I know. Oh, I hate Dasani. Actually, I don't hate it. Dasani.
Now I just blew
my Dasani. He hates Dasani.
Yeah, it's Coke. It's made by Coke or Pepsi or something. It tastes like
it's taking down big water now.
Yeah, it tastes like toxic waste.
Oh my God.
Autumn, this does feel like a very classic show where how many times we would get through a show, and I'm doing it now, where I would be like, all right, everyone, and then someone would say something in another 20 minutes.
20 minutes goes by.
That's how you know it's been a fantastic show.
Oh my gosh. We have to have you guys back again for another show.
Absolutely.
In the
We will love
anytime.
So much fun.
Anytime.
Your viewers aren't tired of hearing us,
if your viewers aren't tired of hearing us,
Mike can clap on more favorite things. It'll be
go
great.
to baldguysbadmovies.com and listen to us.
If Mike has to piss them completely off, and
well, you know what? It's good because you got Troy there, and you can just be like, God, Troy's the man, but Mike's a freaking moron, and you don't know how many people say that in our day-to-day lives. So don't worry, it's okay.
He's gonna talk next about how stupid Toy Story is.
Yeah, exactly.
We're two idiots at a bar talking about movies. That's all we are.
I love it.
We're not pretending to be
Toy Story 3, though. I will say Toy Story 3 ripped
there we go.
my heart out. Like,
by the way,
that movie.
I have to edit this guy. Now you guys see.
You
ask him a question and you get like a diatribe, like a manifesto of why.
Editing an episode with the four of us.
Oh my God.
We'll be an hour and 30 in and Mike be like, no, I'm not saying that Steve Buscemi is not sexy. What I'm saying is that, in the right circumstances, if I'm tired enough.
And I think back and I was like earlier,
have you seen the
wedding
Wedding
Singer? I enjoy the process. Really? What's wrong with me? I'm self-reflecting right now. I need an intervention. Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Felix is a man.
Yeah.
Well, luckily, so I wanted. So we'll do some.
Hurry, Paul, before we talk about something.
I won't say a word. I won't say anything.
Don't lose our fans.
I'm gonna mute myself. Okay. So even if I talk, you can't hear me.
He's like, have you seen Made in Manhattan with Jennifer Lopez? What a fantastic film. I mean, it is a great film. But so you guys are for all intents and purposes weekly, right? So when do you guys drop your new episodes, roughly?
Roughly, it goes live at 6 a.m. every Monday. And 6 a.m. because my wife is taking the kids to school and she wants to listen in the morning. So there you go.
All right.
Oh, I love that. Okay, yeah, and you guys can listen to their last episode 68, which was Five Nights at Freddy's. You can go all the way back to episode 1, which they reviewed the Batman.
My son is on that episode, Five Nights at Freddy's.
Five Nights.
Yeah. His son is an excellent
really
co-host.
Oh, and Noah has own 2 standalone episodes. It was Sonic.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
What
Sonic
was
the Hedgehog 2
Spider-Man?
And
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
No, I don't think it was Spider-Man.
No,
it was Dragon Ball.
Dragon
Ball. Superhero. Yeah.
The same thing, honestly.
Hot take. TikTok, Miss Minutes.
Sorry, Felix. Sorry.
Well, it was like he's walking the line of fan and hatred very closely.
I know.
He wants his timeline to dissolve, so let's just get it going.
Watching us.
Let's become kind spaghetti already. All right.
You can check out anytime you want, Felix. No one's making you watch this, buddy.
It literally sounds like
Paul and I always used to say, "Hey guys, Netflix is a thing. Just saying, you don't have to be here.
You are here." Yes. Folks. Well, you're here. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Comment after the fact. If you want to, drop some recommendations that you'd like for Mike and Troy to review. You can do that on our comments, but please go to baldguysbadmovies.com. I think it's bald movies. Bald movies.
Bad guys.
God damn it! You'll get there.
I'll figure it out. Yeah. baldguysbadmovies@gmail.com. Is that right?
That's correct.
That is correct.
Yeah, if you'd like to contact them, if you have any opinions for Mike or Troy on their opinions on Star Wars, baldguysbadmovies.com. I'm sure they'd love to hear it. So
absolutely, I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, guys. Again, you can find them
directly to Mike.
Pretty much everywhere, wherever you get your podcasts. You guys can find them again, even on YouTube as well. Troy, Mike, thank you guys so much for being here and taking the time out. I know you guys are super busy. I know, Mike, you pulled in, you picked up your kids, you were just freaking ready to go.
Yep.
Love it.
Thank you guys so much.
I plugged in my computer 5 minutes before the show started. So
Nice.
I hope we provided some
ready to make enemies.
Stupid entertainment. That's our goal. So
always. I knew you would.
we definitely,
that is high praise. Thank you, Mission
we definitely provided some stupid. I can guarantee that part at least.
It's all entertaining. It's all entertaining. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for joining us again. baldguysbadmovies.com. Check them out on Mondays, 6 a.m. Listen to it on your drive. Listen to it wherever you want. I like doing it. It's just in the background. You guys are like, it's like I don't live alone. I live with you too. It's fantastic. So thank you guys so much. We'll see you next Thursday, same time, same place. We've got a pop culture headlines and news episode next week. So let us know if there's anything you guys want us to cover. We appreciate you guys so much. Remember, like what you love what you like. If you see a bald guy watching a bad movie, give him a hug. Bye, everyone. Take care.
Bye, guys.
Nothing. Mike's like, actually,